You know what? You can call me crazy, but I dare say that we are living in a very distracted world. And I bet it's going to get even more distracting. Like most people, you are probably easily distracted by wandering thoughts or social media updates while trying to be productive. Even in the middle of work, you are forced to check your mails, pick or make a phone call, get onto Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and the likes. There is a television, the radio, computers, and so in the midst of all these, no wonder it's been reported that the average man's attention span is less than 8 seconds. Yep, that is less than the attention span of a goldfish. And so you'd agree that this definitely affects your productivity. It affects your ability to produce at your best. Be frank with me, how many times have you set for yourselves goals within a certain time span only to keep shifting the goalpost? Let's not go too far. I believe you had some resolutions for the year. Well, we are a couple of months into the year. Would you say that you're on track? That you are well on your way into achieving these resolutions? Well, it's not your fault. Distraction is the enemy of productivity. Unfortunately, it is everywhere in the form of Twitter timelines, Instagram feeds, WhatsApp notifications, email inboxes, etc. You can start the day with the best of intentions, an ambitious to-do list, and a great game plan to get everything done. Yet the hours slip by and you fail to accomplish anything meaningful. You seem busy and tired at the end of the day, yet you're unable to accomplish a lot of your goals. So the question is, what do we do? Well, I'm not suggesting that we all go and settle in the bush and perhaps live the rest of our lives there. Or am I? Well, not necessarily. I introduce to you deep work. It's not just a book, it's a concept. Now, this concept was coined by Cal Newport, a renowned author and computer scientist. Now, according to Newport's definition, deep work refers to professional activity performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive abilities to their limits. Now, these efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. Let's agree, the world is changing fast. Lots of information, advancements in technology, new discoveries are being made each day, which is to say that much as there is distraction, some people are becoming highly productive each day. Unfortunately, these are very few people. Or as Newport puts it, the ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare. At exactly the same time, it is becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. As a consequence, the few who cultivate this skill and then make it the core of their working life will thrive. Now, the author divides the book into two parts. In part 1, he argues that deep work is indispensable for any productive person. He maintains that the rise of network tools and social media in our personal lives is increasingly dividing our attention. Now, in making his arguments, he refers to what he calls shallow work, that is the opposite of deep work. And he said, now these are tasks that do not create much new value. They are very easy to replicate and often performed while distracted. Then he goes further to argue that we should all strive to limit shallow work and train ourselves to maximize our potential by focusing on deep work. Now, he posits that a distraction-free work environment allows you to learn a new skill faster and leverage your current skills to produce more valuable work. Now, this enables you to keep up with the current state of your field and allows you to create more quality work by focusing on activities that matter. Cal Newport outlines a formula for producing quality at your highest level. Now he says, high quality work produced is equal to time spent times intensity of focus. Then in part 2, he goes deeper to explain the deep work practices and skills that one needs to master in order to become highly productive. Now, these are my takeaways from this part of the book. Number 1, schedule every minute of your day. He says, respect your time by deciding in advance what you're going to do every minute of your workday. You can use a notebook or a calendar and roughly assign blocks of time to certain specific activities. Now, in doing this, be as rigid as you're flexible. Be rigid so as not to allow any form of distraction, and be flexible enough to adapt to new challenges that appear during the day. Secondly, work deeply. Now, the author mentions that the key to getting deep work done is creating routines, habits, and environments that make it easier. Now, he goes on to lay out 4 philosophical practices of deep work that one can choose from, namely monastic, bimodal, rhythmic, and journalistic. Let's take them one after the other. Now, with monastic, it is the most dedicated form of deep work, which involves spending all of your working hours on a singular high-level focus. There's no room for any form of distraction. You become basically unreachable like a religious monk. Now, this way of working is best for those who work alone on long-term projects like writers and academics, allowing them to truly dedicate their lives to their craft. For example, the author mentions a science fiction writer called Neil Stevenson, who doesn't have a public email address because, for him, every minute spent on email is one less minute writing his next novel. Then we come to bimodal. Now, this one requires the flexibility to arrange your year, your months, or your weeks as you see fit into larger chunks of deep work. As in, dedicate a number of weeks or months for a distraction-free environment. You can switch between being unreachable and being connected for long stretches of time. Now, this is great for those who need to focus deeply, but again have other works to do or maybe some obligations to fulfill. Then third, rhythmic. Now, this is ideal for individuals with a fairly static schedule. If you can anticipate in advance what most of your days will look like, it's feasible to block off several hours every day for deep work, thereby getting into a daily rhythm and leaving the rest of your hours for shallow work. You set aside blocks of time to work deeply within your normal schedule. This is good for people with a busy full life who are trying to get deep work done. Now, finally, generalistic. Now, this one is for people who are very busy and makes performing deep work practically impossible. Now, with this one, you consistently take opportunities to do deep work when they arise. Practice deep work sporadically, as in when you get the opportunity to. This is good for people who are very busy, like I said. For example, if you have a meeting or you have a class and that class is cancelled, you can use that period for deep work. Now, the author advises readers not to practice all of them, just stick to one and die with it, so to speak. Then thirdly, in order to practice deep work, the author says, quit social media. Now hold on, stay with me. The author advises that one should use social media like a craftsman. In other words, be selective. Use social media insofar as it advances your productivity. In fact, he recommends taking a 30-day break from certain network and social media tools. Then, after the 30 days is over, you ask yourself whether that time would have been better with the tools and whether anyone cared that you were using it at all. In the end, be the judge of whether or not social media advances your productivity. Now, those are the three things I wanted to point out to you from the book. Now, here are some very interesting quotes from the book. If you don't produce, you won't thrive, no matter how skilled or talented you are. Clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not. Who you are, what you think, feel, or do, what you love, is a sum of what you focus on. What we choose to focus on and what we choose to ignore plays in defining the quality of our lives. Do some good in the world for no other reason than wanting to be part of the solution. Compelling careers often have complex origins that reject the simple idea that all you have to do is to follow your passion. Giving more people control over what they do and how they do it increases their happiness, engagement, and sense of fulfillment. An interruption, even if short, delays the total time required to complete a task by a significant fraction. To learn requires intense concentration. To simply wait and be bored has become a novel experience in modern life, but from the perspective of concentration training, it's incredibly valuable. No one owes you a great career. You need to earn it, and the process won't be easy. All it takes is an ideology seductive enough to convince you to discard common sense. Craftsman mindset focuses on what you can offer the world. The passion mindset focuses instead on what the world can offer you. This mindset is how most people approach their working lives. Human beings, it seems, are at their best when immersed deeply in something challenging. The three traits that make people love their work: impact, creativity, and control. Most knowledge workers have lost the ability to perform deep work. No one ever changed the world, created a new ministry, or amassed a new fortune due to their fast email response time. To maximize your chances of success, you should deploy small, concrete experiments that return concrete feedbacks. Three to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week of uninterrupted and carefully directed concentration, it turns out, can produce a lot of valuable outputs. Passion comes after you put in the hard work to become excellent at something valuable, not before. Alright guys, that is all time while hours for today. If you have not subscribed yet, kindly do so. Like the video also for us and share. My name is Tete. I will see you in the next video. Until then, you keep reading and you keep changing your world one book at a time.